Be blessed by the divine. Dear friends, I would like to share some important information, interesting information about the bird eagle. Eagle never fears adversity. It is a majestic, courageous, confident, and fearless bird. When all the other birds fly fast to reach their nest in fear of rain, you know what the eagle does? It just flies above the cloud and thus avoids rain. What a clever bird it is. Further, it is said eagle lives for more than 70 years. Of course, it has a setback at its age of 40. That is, its beak gets bent. A live or die situation. You know what it does? It struggles hard to just come out of that problem and happily lives for another 30 or more years. See what a fearless and courageous bird it is. We human beings need to learn a lot from this eagle, isn't it? Dear friends, fear is an emotion or instinct, we can say. Always it is attributed to negativity, even though at some times it is said to be positive when it helps to strive in striving a life. Yet, what is fear and how we are going to solve it? This is that we need to know this information through Vethathiri. We will know all these things on the topic fear not. And the speaker today is Professor M.Viswalingam. Before handing over the mic to Professor M.Viswalingam, I would like to introduce Professor Viswalingam. Welcome, Professor Viswalingam, sir. Professor Viswalingam is into Sky Yoga for more than 25 years. He is instrumental in setting up of VM Sky Center at Singapore. And today, VM Sky Center is functioning in its own place, and he is the president. And also, he is the nominated president of Sky Development Society, Singapore. He is taking classes for Vision 2. We are happy to welcome such a wonderful person to our center today. Welcome, Professor Viswalingam, sir. The floor is yours.
Good evening to all of you. I don't seem to get my picture on the video here. Probably if Professor G.K. Bharati can help with this.
Underneath the flyer, there is one column. Do you want to change? You just write yes, and then you just you can share your screen, sir. Underneath that flyer.
Share screen. Okay. Understand.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes. Just come.
The sound is there for you?
It is. I'm able to see it, sir. I think everybody will be able to see it.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I'm still not so good with all these IT things. Pardon me for that. First of all, I would like to thank Senior Professor S.P. Balaya and his team. And I'm very happy to see the catchy flyer. And thanks to the advertising team. And thank you, Professor G.K. Bharati, for introducing me. Let us start. Today's topic is fear not. First, let me invoke Swamiji's blessing.
Sir, excuse me, your screen is not moving. It is just showing the.
What can I do?
That is, you need to open your PowerPoint. I think you are not yet open.
I'm not showing PowerPoint. I'm just. Can you
Just
see?
showing the screen. That's all.
That's all. Yes.
Okay.
Will this do?
That screen is visible. Some
Okay.
yellow floor and.
Okay. Okay.
All the apps there.
Well,
Apps there.
obviously, I
Okay.
think.
Okay. Sir. Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, let me invoke Swamiji for this session so that he'll be able to participate with us. Then, as mentioned earlier, the topic today is fear not. Fear, right? To go into it further, I'm actually going to split these into 3 segments. One is physical, and one is psychological, and one is spiritual. Okay, first starting with physical. You are at the park. And all of a sudden, a big dog, maybe 4.5 feet to 5 feet tall, black, come rushing at you. What will happen? I think some of you might have experienced such an environment in your life before. So what actually happened is there is a small organ inside your brain, middle of the brain, amygdala, which starts to go into motion, action. So when this happens, stress hormones, particularly cortisol and adrenaline, are secreted. So during this time, your nervous system is activated and starts to function. Now, fear response is in motion. So what actually happens is your blood pressure rises, heart rate goes up, breathing also accelerates. And during this time, the blood is diverted from the other sections of the body to your limbs, ready for you to either to fight or flee the scene. And not only that, when this amygdala starts moving, some part of your brain works and some of the part of the brain slows down. So unfortunately, what happens is our frontal cerebral node will be impaired. So our reasoning will be dull. Judgment will be foggy. Decision making and judgment will be confused. So this is the setback of fear. So what will be the outcome? So you've seen these, probably people screaming, people will scream, put their hands up, in exasperation. So there are 2 aspects of fear. One is reaction to fear, which I've just discussed, and the other one is phobia. You have seen that many a time people just will go to the wash basin, cleaning their hands, and also avoiding water, avoiding spiders, frightened of cockroaches. They will practically scream. So these are actually based on past experiences which are instilled into our karmic imprints, and it comes out. So there's one more thing which we call staged fear. So I think number of you would have gone in the roller coasters, tunnels, haunted houses. So here we want to go again and again. You have seen when people sitting on the roller coasters, they scream, they raise their hands up. They are in fear actually. So, but this is willingly done. So what happens during this time is the brain secretes dopamine. This is a pleasure creating hormone, and you wanted to do it again and do it again and do it again, and despite you are in fear. So let us move into the second segment, briefly look at what psychology says about fear. Fear is innate and is also acquired. Innate means you're frightened of snakes, death fear, fear of going into the tunnels. This could have been passed through karmic or genetic imprints from your fathers, parents, or forefathers. So there is one which is acquired, and it is the conditioned fear. So negative happenings in the past is responsible for such behavior, bitten by a dog. So whenever you see a dog, your past imprints comes to flash and you become frightened. Same, if you are walking by and you fall into a pond, then the fear of water comes upon every time you go near a pond. So here, what happens is our everyday life is actually built up with negative influences. That's the reason why the acquired fear is predominant in number of people. You have seen, don't do that, don't climb here, don't fall down. I will briefly tell you my personal experience with my grandson. When he was crawling, when he sees an ant, he will say adi, bit. Then I will tell him, oh, never mind, don't beat that fella, let him be. Even if he sees a big hand, he will say adi. So he has grown up, now he's almost 1.5 years old. Now we see something crawling towards him, he say, I'm scared. What has happened? So this is the thing, the environment molds the person. So this is the reason why I'm telling you this could have been happening to you in your house. So our home environment is full of negativity. If he climbs the stairs, you say, hey, don't fall down. Instead of guiding him, you say, don't fall down. If you walk towards a desk, hey, be careful, don't hit your head against the desk. So this is the kind of environment we are living. Please note, dear brothers and sisters, we have to come out of it so that our next generations can be more brave. So what psychology says about getting rid of these fears? There are two processes. One is acclimatization and the other one is flooding. So psychology says face fear. You face fear. In flooding, what happens? Let's say you're frightened of spiders. They will bring you into a room or where there are spiders not crawling about, maybe in boxes, glass panels and all that, to get rid of the fear of spiders for you. But this process is a bit dangerous because you are introducing something you're very worried about and frightened. So this process has to be guided. Then the other one is acclimatization. Let's say you fall into a pool and you're frightened of water or walking by near the water. So what happens in psychology is they will introduce the concept of water to you, then probably take you to a swimming pool, tell you, hey, it's harmless, probably take you to a pond. Then further down, they might take you to a lake or to the sea to get rid of the fear. So this is what is offered in psychology, but I don't think so that it will totally remove your fear. So let me go into the next segment, which is spiritual. Swamiji says the cause of all the problems in the world is due to three things. One is fear, please note fear. The second is poverty. And also the third one would be people are in search of God and they don't know where its body is, so they are searching. So these are the cause of all the problems. So let us trace the events after the trigger. Let us trace the event. So when the fear is triggered in the brain, actually it is the mind which is taking the fear into account. So what actually is captured is the external stimuli. So we have these five senses. We see, oh, the dog is running towards you. Then we hear it's barking and it is furious. Then we also smell, taste, these are the sensory perception. The other one is the mind also reacts to the danger. Mind reacts to danger. So now the whole occurrence is actually dependent on what we think, and the main thought process is the mind. So we have to know briefly what the mind does. It perceives and it reacts. It perceives and it reacts. So then what is this mind? Probably the participants here who are gathered, who are meditators, probably would know that mind is something, is a wave which cannot be seen. Swamiji gives a very clear definition. Nobody has given such a definition before. It's the extension of your life force. So we have the mind here, then you have the life force. Two important things many of us are not aware of. We buy a grinder, we look at the instruction manual. Okay, what are the speeds it has to be operated? What are the conditions it has to be, whether it should be dry, wet, and what's the quantity? We read through. Anything we buy, we look at the manual. We are living. Do we read our manual? And friends, science has really not gone into the realm of the mind and life force, because it's a wave. Science always relies on things which can be measured, seen. So it is a wave and we cannot see it. So science has a problem here. So probably, Machi says when science collaborates and joins hand with the spiritualism, we might be able to come to an understanding of how we are living, what is causing us to live, how we are protected and all that. So life force in essence is spinning very fast. And is spinning through all our body with the focal point for Muladhara. Meditators will know it. And Maharaji says life force is the extension no, sorry, mind is the extension of your life force. So your mind, which is also a wave, spreads all to the body. And what we coined, the term coined for this is biomagnetism. Many of you might have heard this. So it's working through our senses. When we see, we use biomagnetism. When we smell, we use biomagnetism. When we hear, we use biomagnetism. So our bodily function entirely depends on this biomagnetism, which we have to know. Without this knowledge, I would say that we are actually living in the blindness. Maharishi says, everyone born in this world have to meditate, but it's not happening. I think probably, the world is catching up with meditation. So our Siddhas have identified and merged the mind with the life force. How they did this? Through meditation. So our mind is outside, focusing on the external objects. You get attached to a lot of things, So the birthplace is its life force. So what they have done is what we have done in the after meditation earlier. We close our eyes and look here, focusing our mind here, focusing our mind here. Then over time, you'll be able to merge your mind into the life force. Then, depending on the frequencies, you'll be able to go deeper, lower to lower frequencies, and probably, you'll be able to see what causes the life force to spin. Something must be driving the life force for it to spin. So you will come to a stage where it is a static state, which controls the whole universal function. That is what is bliss, in what you call spiritualism. So now, having known what is life force and what is mind, and mind is responsible for all of the actions. And if a fear response happens, so meditators, if you are meditating, your frontal lobe and your whole brain as a whole is active all the time. So in a situation of distress, fear, okay, can it be anything? You will be able to remain in awareness, focused, to understand the situation and decide what has to be done. So you move from excited stage where your reasoning is impaired to a stage of awareness where you will be able to decide what is the next course of my action. So from excitement to awareness. So meditation offers you such a thing. So I would believe and I would say that, this is the only way available to come out of fear totally. I have not frightened most of the time. I will relate to you an incident which happened in my life a couple of years back. I was just walking out of the house, front gate. Then I saw my neighbor's dog, black, white dog, I think it's around 1.5 feet tall, rushing towards me. So normally the dog, my neighbor's dog, is always unleashed and the gates are all the time closed. Unfortunately, the day the gate was opened, the dog was rushing towards me. So I was taken aback for a while. It's a normal response. So I told myself, I looked at the dog into the eyes and I told the dog, just speaking, I'm not going to harm you. I'm your friend. I'm not a threat. And likewise, I would wish that you don't harm me. You'd be surprised, it worked. The rushing dog came, circled around me, and I was able to pet the dog. It's a tall fellow. So at that moment, my neighbor rushed out, hearing that, I would be injured. So I told the neighbor, okay, it's a friendly guy. So this is my personal experience. So meditators will be able to determine the situations they are in, and will be able to come out of all the circumstances of fear, not even fear. Anything which is presented to you, you will be able to overcome it. Vivekananda has said this. I just conclude this with this message. If you know yourself, the power within you, if you know yourself and the power within you, even a snake bite will not do anything to you if you are able to deny the poison which is there. Thank you.